Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Sunday night. Hoping, and thanks, Hershey. That I've been playing around with some intros and some fun stuff. So I appreciate everybody hopping in. I know it's Sunday, Father's Day. It's kind of late. I've had some busy times, but what else is new? As some of you know, I've been taking some classes, and that kept me extremely busy and kept me far away from TarotTube for a long time. And that's a sad thing. This is one of my favorite places to be. I love all the people, and it's just it's been rough to be away for this long. But I'm so glad to be able to come back and have some more time for it. So we have Hershey, the shadow reader here. Hershey, thank you so much for hopping on. I teased a little earlier that I might be hopping on tonight, and I'm glad I was able to do that. And thank you for the Father's Day wishes. Appreciate it. And who else do we have here? Thomas, tarot your way. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for joining in. Miss Moonlight, welcome. Appreciate everybody hopping in. And so what I'm thinking about, and what got me kind of down this path of maybe starting a new series, there are a couple things that led to it. There was a video put out recently about a spread, and you know, it's every time I need to think of something, I can't think of something. I think I'm losing my mind these days, but I can't think of the channel that it was on. But anyway, there was a video about a spread, and it was kind of a really creative way of looking at spreads and thinking about how to engage with the cards. And then I also got to thinking about just community in general, and specifically how much I really enjoy engaging with this community. We have some really wonderful people, and we have, all of our little channels and little groups, and people hop around from channel to channel in the chat, and everybody's so supportive, and it's a really good place to be. And, when I was a kid, like a lot of kids in the 80s, every Sunday we'd go to church and all that kind of stuff. And, churches and gatherings of that sort of thing, I take a lot of different forms, and church is not a thing for me. In my adulthood, it hasn't been much, but not really at all. But one thing I miss is just that whole concept of fellowship. Um, I think there's really something important there. That it, I don't know, just getting together and just even if it's just about sitting down, having a chat with people, mixing and mingling a little bit. I'm a major introvert, but that's one of the reasons why YouTube works so well is we can participate at all different levels and in many different ways. And I think you can get a lot out of it without even putting a whole lot in, or you can put a lot in and still get a lot out of it. So it's just, um, so I thought for me, it's kind of selfish, honestly. What I would like to do is just get in one of these streams with you folks on Sundays, and we can talk about anything, everything. But if we put it around a little bit of a theme and have kind of a subject each week, that helps. It helps to at least give us something to talk about. And for what it's worth, this is what I'd like to talk about. So that's it. Spreads, I think, are a decent place to start. Coming into this with very little preparation. So there's that. So I'll be honest, it's not something I've done a whole lot of study or anything. What I had in mind for this was, almost every tarot deck you get comes with some kind of either pamphlet or book or some sort of guide, and they almost always have their own spin on 3-card spreads and all these different options, different things you can try out with their cards, and sometimes they're themed around the deck. Sometimes they are just repeats of the standards, and so no, Hershey, no prepping for mathematics, nope, and nothing like that. But basically, we can take a look at all sorts of spreads. I think there are a few that really intrigue me. One thing I'm curious about, I think the most intriguing spread for me is the Celtic Cross. But I'm wondering, how many of you actually use it? Is it something that you occasionally might use for yourself? If you're doing a reading for yourself about something particularly intense, maybe, and you think you might have a need for that many cards, because let's face it, that's a lot of cards. And yeah, so Miss Moonlight use it all the time. So yeah, I mean, it's that's one that I go through phases with it. So I will use it. I think it's more for me. I think it's a lot of times it's more about when I want to connect with the cards. Maybe it's a new deck. It's a way to get a lot of cards out on the table all at once and start to think about them in their different positions in a meaningful way. So, yeah, I think it's a really intriguing one for me. But when I was thinking about it, I thought, how many people are actually using this? It seems like it's the go-to for a lot of classical tarot texts. There are a lot of books out there that really dive into it a lot and seem to focus on that as the first spread to go to. And it's intimidating for sure. I think the most intimidating thing for me with that is I think the thought of doing readings for other people with that, And first of all, it's not something that lends itself well to YouTube. It's not something that um, that we can really easily do in the YouTube world. I think because typically there's a queue of people waiting to have readings done, and a lot of times shows only last an hour and a half, um, and you could probably spend, I don't know, maybe you get like 2 or 3 readings done at the most. So it could be pretty tough. Um, so yeah, favorite spread. Yep. I think it's my favorite and least used all at the same time. And maybe it's partly because of the time commitment too. I don't know. I mean, that certainly is a factor. Um, so when you read for, oh, okay, for the charities, yeah. So that's the spread you use. Only spread for 11 plus years. Yeah, that's a commitment. So yeah, that's great. Then I'd like to, talk more and hear more about your experience with that. And I'll tell you, this is meant to be community. So if any of you would like to hop on, I can send you a link to the StreamYard, or at least I can try to. It's been a little while since I've been in StreamYard, but I think I could take care of that. I should be able to do that. So just let me know if you want to hop on. I think that'd be great. So, yeah, 10 cards. Um, and so for, yeah, energy obstacle and solution, the 3 card center. And yeah, we would certainly have to abbreviate. And I think, then do you lose something? I think possibly you do, but maybe not. I mean, that's why keywords are a thing for a reason. And certainly you could apply that um, to that sort of spread. So let me show you. So I don't know if any of you heard of the Meraki Tarot. I did a video with Gerald about this one. Let me see if I can switch my camera here. We'll try. All right. There we go. So the Meraki Tarot, Meraki, I think is how it's pronounced. Beautiful deck. It is gorgeous. And so I love matte colored edging of any sort. I think it's great. Some of the art, it's some of it's really, really good. Some of it a little bit misses for me. But overall it is beautiful and well crafted and just a nice thing to behold. And the book is amazing. So this is one of the spreads in the book that I think is quite nice. It is, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on it here. Yeah, it's not going to let me zoom there, but oh, here we go. There we go. So the Radiant Week Ahead. This is a pretty cool spread, I think. So 4 across the top and one down at the bottom. And they are for current state of being, what energies will support me this week, what energies will nurture my growth, what energies will ease any obstacles, and then overall encouragement. So, and it says crystal card, sure, but you could use pretty much any, I would think any divinatory tool and apply it. And I would tend to use, of course, tarot. But yeah, it's quite a thing. But they do, of course, have other spreads in this book, some more complicated than others, as you can see there, and some standard stuff. 3 cards with different prompts. So this is a book that I think does a good job of giving us some ideas. So anyway, lot of options, a lot of things to talk about with spreads, I think. But certainly, um, yeah, lots of fodder for consideration there. So I think it's a fun topic. If nothing else, it's a conversation starter. Sip, sip. So let me, with that sip, catch up a little bit on chat here. So yeah, almost bought that one. It is, it is beautiful. I think so. I have the second edition. I feel like I saw somewhere that maybe there's a third edition coming out. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure, but yes, it is beautiful. Um, yep. So yeah, really, you don't even have to know, because I don't know these spreads. I've never used that spread. I was looking for some good information, some good examples of different things that could be tried, and that was, at least that one stands out as being, certainly, it's a 5 card, so it's a little more ambitious than a 3, but has, I like the whole week ahead idea. And that one, this book actually has some several spreads that seem to go on that theme. So that just tells me that the author designer probably has a very busy life, and maybe their work life is not as I don't know, fulfilling as the artwork and what they do for their tarot. But yeah, so yeah, so let's see. Oh yeah, more. Here we go. More decks for scavenger hunts. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm totally brave enough for another beard, Thomas. So, the thing is, I don't think I have your email address. But I imagine Hershey has it, and I could probably email the link to Hershey, and maybe she could forward it on to you. Let's try that. Hi, Sabrina Elizabeth. Welcome. Glad you could join us. We're talking about spreads, but not in depth tonight. Really, tonight is all about, I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of an introduction of a new series that I'd like to start. And there are several reasons I'm thinking I want to do this. So all of which are selfish. I'm just gonna throw it out there. One, I'd like to have more opportunity to engage with everybody here. Two, I need that sort of like routine commitment to be able to keep myself in the game. I think I get a lot out of this when I engage, whether it's in chat on other people's streams, or whatever the case may be. Even if it's just sitting down here in this space and pulling some cards, I feel like I get a lot of fulfillment out of this. So I thought it would be even better if if I have kind of a routine thing that I can just jump into on a weekly basis. And Hershey, I'm working on I'm multitasking here, folks. So please forgive me if I skip around and stutter on a few things, but the link is on its way to you now. So okay. So yeah, that's what's going on here. And I think when I was thinking about what exactly would I, because I guess I could just host. I don't know. I could just host a chat time or whatever. But I think it's nice to be able to. Thank you, Hershey. I saw that. I will send it over right now, or I will try to send it over right now. Thomas, this is going to be the most ridiculous email you've ever seen, and hopefully it won't go to your spam folder because it's literally a link that the subject is link. So it's going to feel unsafe, but it's StreamYard, I swear. And I'm kind of proud of myself that I was able to sort of do that while also hosting a live. Goodness. Yeah. So anyway, so talking about spreads, touched on the idea of how many people use the Celtic cross and things like that. One thing that I thought might be neat too is if we break down things like that. So if we have a more complex spread like the Celtic cross, what if we break that maybe we could just break it up within one episode. But if we talk about, I think it'd be nice to break it up more than that. So like maybe week 1 we talk about the center cross, maybe week 2 we talk about the cards around, and then week 3 we talk about the staff on the side or something. I don't know. Just throwing out ideas. But I think there are several ways to approach it. I'd like for people to come in with ideas, with spreads they've seen or heard of that they thought were particularly interesting. We can discuss the spread, discuss the positions, discuss our past experiences with those types of spreads and what they've meant for us or done for us. And then of course, in addition to that, we can draw cards. We can always try them out and do a bit of a test drive. So I think that is where I'd like to go with this. And then, as I said, I think the key thing for me is just having a place for us to all get together, chat, have fun for a little while on a Sunday. Because I really do enjoy that sense of community. And there are some already doing that. Simon's Saturday group, the Hermit's Cave, that's always been great. Saturdays have been nuts for me, so hasn't always been possible for me to join in. And it's a big group. I mean, that's fun, but it's a big group. So definitely sometimes it's fun to watch, really enjoyable content, really great topics. But it's busy. It's just busy. And I think, in that way, I feel like I kind of have a bit of a luxury in having a tiny channel, because when I get together with people on here, it's probably going to be pretty small. So, oh yeah. So a spread in the alchemy deck. Yeah, that would be fun to look at. And that's one that lately I've been thinking, I want to get that back out, because it went away for a little while. Well, as did pretty much everything. And I think that deck is so fascinating, and I'd be very interested to spend a little bit more time. Yeah, and I think I don't know, it's just more engaging. Maybe something that goes anywhere from one person in chat all the way up to maybe 15 to 20, something like that. Always feels a little more comfortable. And if I'm hosting, I start to get a little nervous if the crowd gets big, because it's a little tough. Or if I'm on a stream, I guess, just because there's so much to follow. Oh, and it looks like we have another beard, folks. A beard has joined us.
Hello, Brian.
How are you?
I am doing well, and you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be back on here. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it. It's fun to hear this. So yeah. So you said something about charities, reading for charities or something. What
Yeah, I was just a self-study tarot, never took classes or anything, just book read. And a coworker saw a tarot book on my desk, and she says, I belong to a charity, and every fall we have a bazaar. And would you consider coming out and reading tarot cards for the bazaar to help us raise money for a nursing home? And they also sponsored police dog training and officer training for different things like sniffer dogs or companion dogs or officer companion.
Yeah.
I said sure. So I did that for 11 years, starting in 96. And they gave me 15 minutes, charged $7 throughout the duration. The price never went up.
That's cheap.
And there was another lady that they had, and she had a table. And Celtic Cross readings, 15 minutes time limit. And I read from 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon without a break. So 28 readings for the Celtic Cross.
Oh,
and so
man,
by the end of the day, my voice would be shot because I'm the ultimate introvert and don't talk a lot with my voice.
Yeah.
And then you had to be loud because it was a Scottish English, and they had a drum and piper corps that would come through every hour or two.
Man, oh man. Wow. That's intense. I mean, that's so cool. What a neat experience though, for you and for the people you got to read for and stuff. And that's and I mean, all going for charity. I'd love to start something like that around here. That is very cool. Jane has joined us. Hi, Jane. Welcome.
Jane, I fell asleep during your live today, and so you were in my dreams, and you kept saying, Thomas, are you sure you don't want a reading? Thomas, are you sure you don't want a reading? She was reading charms this afternoon, which I found very interesting until
it was great.
The sleep monster took me.
Yeah, it's hard at that time of day. Is tough for me too, but I was I was buzzing today because we're doing some home renovating, and I had a break, and it was like, I still had the energy kind of coursing through me, and I turned on YouTube, and there was Jane doing charms, so I had a really good time watching that. Got to catch the second half anyway, so that was fun. So yeah, man, I don't know. I thought about, several times. So I live near our county fairgrounds, and I actually looked into just getting a booth there, and because I thought, there's nothing quite like that, getting that intense experience all at once with a line of people. But I looked a little closer at their contract, and they're fine with, I mean, you can come in there and do whatever you want to do, but they have very strict rules about if you are going to leave your booth for any reason, you have to have somebody else there, like, doing the same thing you're doing. And so, it's a strict hours, and then it runs for like 2 weeks, I think. And there's no way I could do that.
That's a major commitment.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, but I think, I'd love to find a scenario like that, something that would raise money for charity, and it would be a lot of work. I mean, that's pretty intense, but it'd be really fun. Very cool.
It was, and then I developed a following because the ladies of the organization, when they took break from their booth, they would come over and get a reading, and so I read several years for the same people, and I got a gig doing a girls' night in Galveston, and there were 8 girlfriends that had rented a house on Galveston, and so one Saturday I drove out there and read for them.
That's great. That's really fun. Yeah. I think one thing I know that that I kind of wanted and found myself wishing for when I first started reading was more opportunities to read for people, but in particular, opportunities to read for people in person, because that just it's a rare thing to find if you don't already have people in your circle, or some kind of easy venue for it or something, where you can just step out and do it. And I don't know, I never was able to really find that, and I guess part of it is that despite being on YouTube, I am actually very private about my practices and things, and so that makes it tough too, because I put some barriers up for myself, so that definitely makes it tough. But I looked at a couple of local esoteric fairs and things that would come through, and there does seem to be one that's fairly regular that I might be able to get a table at, just to get that, a little bit more of that experience. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the energy is palpable at times. I worked at the football stadium here for 10 years as well, and selling souvenirs.
Mm-hmm.
And on game days, once the crowd was let in, like we were there at 7 a.m. for a noon game, and then didn't get out of there till 5 or 6 at night because we'd have to check in merchandise and money at the warehouse located in the stadium. And I tell you that was so exhausting, being around all those different energies during the day game.
Absolutely.
And people that might have had a little too much in them, a little chaotic energy going on.
Oh yeah.
I'd get home and I'd sleep. I mean, I would just be dead.
Yeah. It's a hard crash after days like that. I used to work in emergency services, and we occasionally would have to do some special events and things. It can be intense enough and crazy enough and bad enough on hard days, that you work a 12-hour shift, sometimes 24-hour shifts, depending on the station I worked at, and by the end of it, you crash. But then on those days where you do special events, like we would do standbys at racetracks, and it's just people everywhere and a constant stream of stuff going on that gets people into all sorts of medical conditions and things that you just have to do what you can. And man, those days, I just, after that, I felt like I could sleep for a week. It's intense. But
so when I was doing my Celtic cross spreads, I sort of modified positions for myself. So the querent card, I would just say that was the MO card, their modus operandi, what energy they were operating in. Challenge card, foundation, their morals and upbringing, past and future. And the crowning card, I was saying highest possible outcome. And then the 4 scepter cards were what they think about the situation, what your views are about the situation, hopes and fears, and then final outcome.
Oh, yeah. In fact, while you're doing that, by the way, hi, Tom. Great to see you. I don't know why YouTube didn't notify you, but YouTube does things, and we don't know what those things are all the time, but you ended up here, so I am very glad to see you. So, while this is a good opportunity, I think, if you're okay with it, I'm going to just put some cards down in the positions for the Celtic cross, because I think the way you described it there is great. And what I'd like to do is just have a little bit of a visual, even if we don't even have to turn any cards over. But if I do this, maybe you can kind of narrate as we go along. Does that work for you? Just
sure.
Talking about what
so
goes there.
So our center card in our Celtic cross is traditionally represents the querent, and you would pick out one of the court cards, either a king or queen or a page or knight, depending on the age and the skin tone, hair color of the person. So you
And
got
would
your
you
fair,
usually?
so
Sorry,
you
go
got
ahead.
your fair complexion people, and that would be your cups, your flaxen hair,
Yep.
your blondes.
And
Your
would
redheads would be
you would typically use an
blondes.
RWS deck? Is that right?
Absolutely. I just went to Barnes and Noble and got the standard RWS yellow
Yep.
pack, plaid back.
Yep.
I see you got the Centennial edition.
I do. Yep. I figured I would
So,
pull that out as the nice, easy, generic version.
yep. And that's what I teach with. And today we did the Ace of Pentacles, and next Sunday will be the Two of Pentacles. So it's all about balance, and everybody's got a lot of irons in the fire. So I always laid out the cards and left them turned face down. And I'm one of those people who doesn't shake Christmas packages. I want to be just as surprised as everybody else and live in the moment.
Absolutely.
So where the traditional says this is the querent, I would say this is the modus operandi. What are the motivations behind why my questioner is asking this? My next card, the crossing card, I always read it as upright.
Do you?
Because too much of anything can be a challenge to people.
Yeah.
So, and then, I don't have to keep track of is left on the bottom or is right on the bottom. Then I put the foundation card. I was saying that this was the family dynamics as they were forming their morals and their code of ethics, and what prejudices or reinforcements influenced the questioner in their early life.
And that's so you're, and I'm sorry, I was
so that's
reading
the
Tom.
Foundation card. The crossing card is just a challenge.
You're right. Yep. Okay. Yep. And sorry, Tom, sorry to catch you off guard with this one, but yeah, there will be a next live. I get it. I know it's been a long time, but go eat. No death by wife tonight for that. Just go eat. So how about okay. Let me put the 4 out. And I know there are some different ways that people tend to switch order on these two. How do you typically do yours when you're
usually if there is a card that's obviously facing left or right, facing away is the past, facing forward is the future. So those can be changed in any position during the read.
So you're talking about specifically the direction that, like the
right.
face. Yeah. So I do that with Tarot Marseille. I always do directional.
So that would be with your center card representing the querent or their MO.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Whatever way that card is facing, I'll if they're facing away from it, it's that card becomes the past.
That makes sense. Okay, great.
The bottom card I use is the foundation, which is that family morals. There was a lot of struggle and strife in the family, and maybe a lot of sibling rivalry if you had lots of siblings, all jockeying for position and attention. And do you have are you the one on the hill, or are you a Marcia or a Chan for the Brady Bunch?
Yep. So how about the top?
Okay. I put that as the highest possible outcome, and that's a pretty good outcome
Sure is.
for your. It's not the end outcome, but for the situation, you're going to be taken care of. You're going to be comfortable in your surroundings. You're going to position yourself eventually in the home or the situation that you are most harmonious in.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let me get into.
Okay, I call these the scepter cards. So
Okay.
in my readings, I was saying that the bottom one was how other people see you operating in the situation or the question that you're asking. The
Yep.
next one up, I say that this is how you see yourself. Um, and does that really align with you and your motivation?
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes we fool ourselves and put blinders on. And so, what truly you want is to have others see you in the situation that you want to be seen in. You don't want to be hiding or running off of uh, shady dealings.
Mm-hmm.
You want to align with that person that's underneath you, or the group of people that see you struggle with your conflicts or struggle with the question at hand. Is I'm calling the crossing card and the question my elder angst at the moment.
Yep. Right.
The card above that, the hopes and fears. Okay, once you reach the happy families and you get everything you want, how do you reinvent yourself to have motivation and keep you interested in the next thing to come in life?
Yep. Absolutely.
And then your actual outcome. Well, we got that's the 10, the generational wealth, and that does
Mm-hmm.
seem to align with the crown card being taken care of, um, and having no wants uh, or only only needs, everything taken care of around you. You have the car you want, the surroundings you want, you live in the neighborhood you want, you have the family that you want. Um, you know, I would I would love this reading.
No
Even with
kidding.
a hangman and death and struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a winner.
So, what would be our cards that you didn't upright?
Yeah. We should probably find out.
Oh, Hershey's card. That's a struggle for Hershey. So
Ah,
we is that the Emperor below?
justice. Justice below.
Just okay. Yeah, I'm right in my thinking. I think I'm fair. Whether you are or not is your moral principles. And then the Hierophant, you're fighting institutions, whether it be struggles with bank or government or um,
Bureaucracy in general, I guess. Right.
bureaucracy in general, paperwork,
Authorities.
education systems, religions. That's the obvious with the Pope card there, but it doesn't mean religions per se. It could be a
Yeah.
teacher or a mentor
Mm-hmm.
that maybe you're struggling with their concepts, or you just don't get it yet. You're going to be needed to be guided and um, spoon fed for a bit till
Yeah.
you get it.
Right. Huh. Excellent. well, I didn't even expect to put anything down and do this sort of thing tonight and start to go over a spread, but here we are already having done it. So thanks for the quick crash course there. I think maybe, maybe we can, you can be a guest to dive in a little more in depth on that at some point too. And we can break it down even more if you'd be up for it.
Sure, you can call me in as a backup. I know you got some heavy hitters like Tom Early Ritual and Hershey. Although she sort of reserves Sundays for her time and the personal work that she does for others, and
Yeah,
she needs to recharge because she is high energy and go, and when she needs a break, she needs a break.
understood. And yeah, Hershey, you do a lot throughout the week on TarotTube, and so I can only imagine. And that's that was some of my reservation of doing Sundays too, because I think a lot of people do the same. Unfortunately, Sundays just tend to be the only day that I can consistently get a little bit of free time to come down here and do this. So, yeah, if we as a group, because it's really you guys are the ones that matter to me, and as we kind of build this out, and if I am able to establish some consistency with it, then I'm certainly willing to set aside some time on a different day too to try and make this work. So and Hershey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you have a link now, but yeah, we'll do it on a time when you have a heads up and some time you can spend with us. So that would be excellent. And anybody else who wants to join, we can certainly set that up as well. So yeah, so I think for now I am gonna plan on doing Sundays. Not necessarily at this time. Evenings don't always work well for me either, because that's when I sit down with my family. In fact, I'm gonna be going up to play a game here in a couple minutes, so I want to spend some time with them, and so yeah, we probably it'll be maybe a little bit earlier in the day usually, but if anybody's coming on with me, I'll clear the time with you. Hershey, next one's yours, absolutely. So let me know if next Sunday is good for you. I think next Sunday is good for me, so we'll work on a time, and yeah, we can figure out how we can make that work. So yeah, I think my son's request was Monopoly tonight, so I think that's what we're doing. I haven't played that in a long time.
I hear laughing hysterically in the background because our router was not high enough in the window to push signal out into the living room. So I've got a tower of Monopoly boxes, different editions.
Oh yeah,
underneath the router, so
holding it up
like a half a Windows height on a table.
That's great. Yep. Hey, if you're not playing them, they can be used for other things.
Yeah, well, the money's not real.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, seriously. Yep, that's funny. Well, yeah, Thomas, I really appreciate you hopping on. This was great. It was unexpected. I didn't think I thought maybe if I was lucky I'd have one person hop onto the chat, but it turned out even better than that for sure. So
well, thanks for letting me crash, and
yeah, this is great.
I'll let you say goodbye.
All right. Thanks, Thomas. See you soon.
You're welcome. Bye.
Well, there we go. I guess the first one I can count as a major success. I will anyway. I really appreciate everybody coming in. We're just up, only about 50 minutes at this point, which to me, I always, when I'm enjoying a live stream, I always cry a little bit inside when somebody says it's time to wrap up, even if they've been doing it for 2 hours, because I just can't get enough, and I really enjoy engaging. So I'm always a little sad when that time comes, but but this was a last minute thing, and I'm going to give people their Sunday back. And but thank you so much for joining in, and I will definitely try my best to make this a weekly thing, because it's really important for me. Like I said, lots of selfish reasons for that, but I hope others get to enjoy too. And so thanks a lot for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one.